Good evening, everyone, and warm welcome to our SFBT Masterclass, which is organized by the Psychic Mantra. I am Ria Khurania. I am the therapist and the founder of the Psychic Mantra. I have completed my master's in counseling and family therapy and have an experience of more than 2 years in this field. So, before we start, can you introduce yourself? What's your name and from where you are joining us today? You can open your mics or otherwise you can just type it in the chat box.
Hello, good evening, ma'am. My name is Deep Shikha, and I am from Thane.
Hello, Deepshika ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Anyone else who want to introduce themselves? Just give me a thumbs up if you are able to listen me. If am I audible? Just give me a thumbs up. Okay. Hello, Bharti ma'am from Delhi. I'm also from Delhi. Okay. So, moving forward, so in this workshop, we are not just going to learn the theories, we will explore how to actually use the SFBT in the real life therapy session. Okay, so by the end of this masterclass, you will feel more confident helping your clients find the solution and build the hope and make the real progress even when they feel stuck. So let's start with the main agendas. So these are our today's agenda. Today we will learn or understand the SFBT fundamentals and the history. Then we will learn the core SFBT techniques. Then we will explore the real examples and the cases and practice activities for the immediate use with our client. Okay. So before we move forward, have anyone heard about SFBT or applied on the client, or what did you understand by the SFBT? Anyone? You can open your mic or even type it in the chat box. Anyone? So it's the first time you are listening about SFBT or you have a little bit knowledge about it. Okay, so you are a student. I have just heard but don't know. It's completely fine. Okay, so moving with what is SFBT? So SFBT full form is solution focused brief therapy. It is a short term goal oriented therapy approach. Unlike the traditional therapies that spend a lot of time in analyzing why a problem exists, SFBT focus on what client want instead of the problem and how to help them get there. Okay, so the key idea of this psychotherapy is every client already has the strength and the resources, and as a therapist, our job is to help them see and build on them. Okay, so SFBT does not ignore the problem. Instead, it acknowledges them briefly and then shifts the conversation to the possibilities, then to the small steps and the solution. Okay, so SFBT sees client as an expert in their own lives. we as therapists act like a collaborator, helping them uncover their existing skills and the success. Okay, in SFBT, we focus on the solution, not on the problem. For example, if I'm working with a client who say they have social anxiety, instead of spending weeks unpacking why they are anxious or why they feel like that, I might ask them, can you tell me about a recent time when you felt a little more confident in a social situations? So this will help them to remember the moment or the success and build on what they are already working. Okay, so clear till now? Just give me a thumbs up. Or if you have any question or anything, just write it in the chat box, or you can just open your mic and ask me. Okay, so moving to the next slide. Just a sec. Yes. Now, who discovered the SFBT? Okay. So, SFBT was developed by the Steve de Shazar and Insu Kimberg in the late 1970s. They worked at a brief family therapy center where they closely observed the real therapy session. Okay. What they found was groundbreaking. When the therapist shifted the conversation from the problems to the solution, client often made faster and more lasting changes in their life. Okay. So this discovery challenged the idea that therapy must always spend a lot of time on the past or deeply analyzing the problem. They refined this observation into the structured, hopeful SFBT approach we know today. Okay. Uh, uh, so Steve and Insu noticed that even when the client mentioned the tiny moments when they feel better, those conversations lead to a powerful shift in the perspective and the behavior. Okay, and even help the client to break the patterns in their behavior and the thoughts that they have from a long time. Okay, clear? Just give me a thumbs up if this is clear. Okay. Am I going too fast or am I not able to connect with you guys? Just let me know. Okay. So, why to use SFBT? Okay. So, there are many reasons to choose the SFBT in the therapy because first, it helps the client to build a rapid hope and the motivation because they start to see the change as possible. Second, it's a practical and the client centered, respecting each other unique strength. Third, it works well for the issues like anxiety, depression, family conflict, low motivation or low self-esteem, and much more. Okay. It helps the client to take the small meaningful step towards their goal instead of staying stuck in what's wrong. Okay, so SFBT is especially helpful when clients feel overwhelmed or hopeless because it helps them imagine the possibility they might not have considered. For example, I worked with a client who felt hopeless about finding a new job. By focusing on their skills and the past small successes, we built a plan and they found work within the weeks. Okay. Some of the students may ask, does focusing on the solution mean we are ignoring the client's pain? So the answer is no. SFBT always starts with the empathy for the problem. We just don't stay there for long. Okay. Clear why we use SFBT? Okay. So do you have any questions? No? So moving forward, yes. So basic rule and the core concepts of the SFBT. So here are the fundamental rules to keep in mind when using the SFBT. Focus on the solution, not problems. Ask what the client want, not just what they don't want. Assume clients have strength and resources. They might not see them yet, but they exist. Third, small changes can create big result. One small step can lead to a chain reaction. Fourth, client are the expert of their own life. Your job as a therapist is to guide them, not to dictate them. Fifth, if something work, do more of it. If it doesn't, try something different. Be flexible. For example, with a client, when you see that if they are doing mindfulness techniques in their daily life and that is helping them to break the irrational patterns or the irrational thought patterns or the behavior in their life, then work with the mindfulness thing instead of moving to the other or the different techniques. Okay, the future can be created, not predicted from the past. Okay, also for an example, a client with the chronic anxiety said that they always feel panicked. By exploring the time they felt even a bit calmer, we identified the helpful strategies they could use more often in their life to overcome the issues. Okay, clear? Are you able to resonate with me? Are you able to understand what I'm saying? Or am I going too fast? Just give me a thumbs up, guys. Okay. And from all of these rules, which of these rules feel easiest or the hardest for you to apply in your work? What do you think about these rules? Anyone? Anyone who want to answer?
Ma'am, can you repeat the question?
From all these rules that we have just discussed, which of these rules feel easier or the hardest to you for the apply when you work with a client? The rules that are written here that focus on the solution, not on the problem. Second is assume client have the strength and the resources to change the future they or to change their life. Third is the small changes can create the big results. Fourth is client are experts in their own life. Fifth, if something works, do more of it. If not, do something different. Sixth is every client has expectation when the problem is less intense. The seventh is the future can be created, not predicted from the past. Yes, Rabia ma'am.
It's Rabia.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
very bad at pronunciation. Yes.
so focus on solutions, not problems. It seems easy,
Okay.
and the
And what about?
hardest one, client. Every client has expectation when the problem is less intense. Maybe it seems harder because we don't know what client expect from us.
Hmm.
सो
Uh,
अगर ऐसा हुआ कि हमने क्लाइंट्स की एक्सपेक्टेशन को कंसिडर नहीं किया या फुलफिल नहीं किया तो मे बी क्लाइंट उतना ज़्यादा सेटिस्फाई ना हो.
true. True.
Yeah,
And
that's
this
it.
can also break the rapport of the client and the therapist.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Yes. And that's why SFBT play a very good role because in many of the cases we have clients who say after the 3 or 4 session that we cannot see any progress in us. We are unable to see any changes. I think in the 3 4 settings there is nothing that a therapist do for me. Okay, at this point also SFBT can play a very good role or can help the client to understand the growth they have in their life after the 3 to 4 settings. Along with that, even it can help a therapist to understand the client's growth. Okay, it is a very helpful. Yes.
So, can we use SFBT in that case when client only wants solution of their problems and don't want to discuss any other issues or and don't want to go discuss the root cause, only wants the solutions of the problems. So, can we use SFBT in that situation?
Yes, you can use it, but in this case also you have to take a little bit of the case history because some, as we know that as a therapist we cannot give them a direct solution. But yes, if they are able or if they just want to explore the possibilities of the future, then yes, you can give it. But yes, I will recommend you to take a little bit of the case history. That's why it will not backfire.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Any other question? Clear till now? Just give me a thumbs up, then we can move forward. Okay. Now, when to use SFBT? So, SFBT is ideal when client want to change but feel stuck and unaware where to start. Okay. Second is therapy must be brief or the time limited, like in school or the community clinics. When we have a very short or the limited time period with the client, at that moment also we can use the SFBT. Third, focusing on the strength is more productive than analyzing the problem, like in short term counseling or the solution focus uh, coaching. Okay, when focusing on the strength is more productive than analyzing the problem, like what right now Rabia ma'am discussed with us. At that point also we can use it. For example, in a school setting you might only have 2 to 4 sessions with a student. So at this moment SFBT help you to use the short time effectively to help them set the goals and feel empowered. Okay. SFBT is a very good psychotherapy. You can use it for the rapport building, for the goal setting, even if in some intervention part it could be used. Okay, is this clear? Okay. Now, moving to the next session, that how many sessions are needed if we are using SFBT. So, one of the most powerful features of SFBT is its efficiency. Research shows that many clients make meaningful progress into 3 to 5 sessions, and therapy rarely exceeds 6 sessions. So, it's a short-term therapy means more client can access service, especially in the settings with the limited resources. So each session is focused on the goal, making the therapy purposeful. Okay. For example, a client who felt paralyzed by the fear of public speaking saw the significant improvement within the 4 sessions by practicing the small goals each week. Okay, even with the clients having the low self-esteem, this technique can be used on them, or this therapy can be used on them, and you can see a very sudden progress in them too. Even it is friendly with the adolescent, with the child, and even with any other population. You can use these techniques on anyone. Okay, so now moving to the next slide, that how SFBT is different from other psychotherapies. Yes. So SFBT is different because it stays future focused, exploring where the client want to go instead of what they went, or instead of from what they went from. Okay. Second, it's built on what already work rather than focusing only on what's broken. Third, it avoids the lengthy problem analysis, saving the time and the energy for you and your clients. For example, I have worked with a client who is overwhelmed by the conflicts with the co-worker. So instead of dissecting each argument, we explored the time they handled disagreements calmly and plan to do that more often. Okay, clear? That how it is different. It is future and the goal focus, builds on what works and what not works, what works and not on what went wrong. Third, it avoid the lengthy problem analysis. ठीक है? Sometimes some student ask, is it unethical to skip the deep problem exploration? So the answer is no. SFBT acknowledge the client's struggle but move quickly to what they can do to change the things. For example, if I have an exam tomorrow and I have to read 10 chapters, instead of thinking about it, I have to work on a plan that how to complete those 10 chapters for tomorrow. So, like this, SFBT works on the solution that what I can do right now to focus on the goal that I want to achieve instead of the problems or the things that I have in my mind. Clear? Yes. So now integrating SFBT with other psychotherapies. So SFBT doesn't have to use alone. It blends beautifully with the other approaches to meet the client unique need. For example, if we combine the CBT with the SFBT, you can use the CBT to identify and challenge the negative thoughts of the client, and then you can use SFBT to set small solution focused goal. For example, a client say, I am worthless. With CBT, we challenge the thought. Then with SFBT, we ask, what would it look like if you felt just 10% more confident? Okay, clear?
Ma'am, can you repeat?
The example or the whole thing?
Example.
Okay. For example, if a client say that I am worthless or I am not good enough, so in this, with the CBT or the techniques of the CBT, we can challenge that thought. And then with the SFBT, we can ask, what would it look like if you felt just 10% more confident? Okay, in this, we just try to shift the focus from the problem to the solution. That it's okay. I understand that you felt worthless. Now, if you have to be confident, what happen if you are 10% confident, more confident right now? Okay, for example, I have a financial issue. I said, okay, I need some money. Then a person came to me and say that this is the 100 rupee note. So what are the first thing you will do with these 100 rupees? This is how I will plan for those 100 rupees. So in the same manner, we will work on the thoughts. Clear?
Okay. Yes. So okay. I mean, asking them a miracle questions so that they can focus on more solutions, not on the problem itself.
Yes. Now they
Thank
can
you.
shift their focus on that how to solve this particular problem that I have instead of just grieving and just doing the catharsis on it.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. And this is the scaling question. This is not the miracle question. Okay. Yes. So moving to the next psychotherapy, if we blend the narrative therapy with the SFBT, then it helps the client to re-author their life stories by focusing on the strength and the movement of the success in their life. For example, if a client believes that their life story is only about the failure, narrative therapy helps them to see the alternative stories, and SFBT build on those small successes. That okay, I have a few successes in the past and I can have a few more successes related to that in the future. Or if I can do this in my past, then I can do more things in my future. Clear? Moving to the third therapy, that is mindfulness and the SFBT. So mindfulness helps. Mindfulness regulates the emotion, and then we can use the SFBT to plan the positive steps. For example, a client practices mindful breathing to calm the anxiety and then uses a miracle question to explore what life would look like if they felt calmer. Clear till now?
No, ma'am. Third one, please repeat, ma'am.
Okay, so mindfulness with the SFBT. So, in this, mindfulness helps the client to regulate the emotions through the mindfulness techniques. It could be anything like PMRT, body scan meditation, or any yoga practice or visualization technique or anything. And with the SFBT, we can plan the positive steps. For example, if a client practice the mindful breathing, they are breathing or they are trying to calm themselves down for the anxiety or for the panic attack or something like that, at this moment we can use the miracle question to explore what the life would look like if they felt calmer. This is a miracle question, that what if everything goes normal or everything just suddenly disappear, the problems all I have, and we are living in a good life. This is how it can help to regulate the emotion or to help to calm them down and even give them a positive way that what they can do. Yes.
Mom, could you differentiate between miracle questioning and scaling? Because we've not yet been taught that.
Okay. Although I have added this in the next slides in the technique session, is that okay if I take this question over there?
Sure, ma'am.
Yes. In there, we will learn everything about in detail. Okay. So, So these are the key techniques in the SFBT that we use. First is the miracle questioning. Second is the scaling question. Third is the exception seeking question. Fourth is the coping question. Fifth is the complementing and the strength amplification. And sixth is the positive self-help. Okay. So moving with the first technique, that is miracle questioning. Okay. So yes, so it's the one of the most powerful technique in the SFBT. You can use this technique even for the goal setting and to understand what the clients want in the future. Okay, so in Miracle, what exactly is Miracle questioning is? It's a question we ask the client to help them imagine how life would look if their problem suddenly disappeared overnight, like a miracle happened while they were sleeping. Okay, so the classic question that you can ask your client is, suppose tonight while you slept, a miracle happened and all the problem you came here you came here from in front of me are just disappeared or solved. Okay, when you wake up tomorrow, what will be the first small sign that make you think that something is different? Okay, in this, as you can see in the name, that is miracle. It's like just a miracle happen and every problem the client have is just disappear. And now what the client will do? Okay, you can just differentiate, or you can just give the different form of activities to the clients or according to the age groups. Like for the children, you can use a time traveling machine. Like, okay, you have a time travel machine, you are sitting in there and now you are moving 10 years ahead in your life. Okay, now what are the things that are changed? Okay, and how you overcome your problem. So this is what the technique is. So why do we use this technique? It helps the client to shift from feeling stuck, thinking about the possibilities. It reveals the hidden hopes and the goals of the client. It gives the direction by turning vague wishes into the clear and the concrete steps. Also it helps the client to see what they truly want and not just what they don't want. Okay, so the uses of the miracle questioning technique is setting therapy goals at the start of the treatment. It's a very good technique for the goal setting. Even I use this technique often with my clients. Then second is breaking through the hopelessness when the client can't imagine change. And third is encouraging the creativity and the new perspective. Clear? It could be used with the themes like anxiety, depression, relationship conflict, motivation problems with the client, and even with the client who cannot or who don't want to see the future, or who don't think like that something will good happen in my future. You can use this technique with them. Clear till now? Is this technique clear? Okay. So what are the expected outcomes? It can help the therapist or the client to create the clearer goal and the renewed hope. And second is the increased motivation to take the small and the achievable steps. Clear? Do you want to do this technique in the class? Okay. So, okay. So for this, just simply think that all the problems that you have that you have in your life, you are sleeping in the night, and all of the sudden, all the problems that you have just miraculously disappear. When you wake up tomorrow, you are living the best day of your life, the life that you really want. So, what is the first small sign that make you feel or make you think that something is different happening? Just take a moment, 2 minutes, and think of it. You can draw it on the paper, or if you want, you can just write it on the paper.
Ma'am, please repeat because your voice is broken. Last.
Okay. Am I clear? Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now I am assuming that every one of us have different problems in our life. Now, suppose tonight while you slept, suddenly a miracle happened and the problems or the sufferings that you have in your life it suddenly disappeared. When you woke up tomorrow, now you are living the best day of your life, the day that you want to live from such a long time, where everything that you want is there. Okay. So when you wake up tomorrow, what will be the first small sign that make you think that something is different? That the last night a miracle happened. Okay. Take 2 minutes. You can write it on the paper or you can draw in the form of emojis or anything that you want. You have 2 minutes to do that. Anyone who did this activity and want to share their experience and want to share what they draw, what they write, or what they think? Anyone? Was the activity clear?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, suddenly I feel a smile on my face.
Okay. What do you think exactly? What the small change happened when suddenly all your problems just disappear? What were you doing?
Planning a family trip.
Family trip. Good.
Same, ma'am.
Okay. Anyone else?
Organizing my household chores or maybe managing my whole day routine.
Good. It means you want a time for yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Feeling peace and calm, going out to a beach for vibes. Okay. That's amazing. Uh, So as you can see, in this we just focus on ourselves, the things that we really want. Okay, so now this can help the client too, or even the client can describe in the same format, and we can add the things like this in the intervention plan. Like for example, like Alka ma'am said that she wants beach vibes. If it is possible, then we can ask the client to go on the beach or do some activities like that. Otherwise, we can give a guided meditation for the beach kind of vibes. Okay, so this can give them a hope, or this can give them a clearer goals that what exactly they want, and this give them a motivation for their life too. Like for example, I didn't identify, or I just didn't add any problems in your life. Okay, these are kind of some general thing, but in some clients they maybe say that they are doing very good on the stage if they have a stage fear, or they are able to score a very good marks, or they felt like that they are loved, or they are the top of the world. Then we can ask the questions like, okay, now what are the things that we can do to achieve that thing. Okay, so this is how we can set the clear goals with the client during the therapy session. Even in the first session, we can ask this question to our client. Now clear what is miracle questioning?
Ma'am, one question.
Yes.
What if जब हमने client से ये miracle question पूछा and the client cannot figure out that situation कि हाँ एक time के लिए उसका problem पूरा disappear हो जाएगा and some miracle happens and they can live a happier life as they wish. अगर वो situation ही वो client imagine नहीं कर पा रहा हो इस miracle question पूछने के बाद, so at that situation what can we do?
At this point, when the client is unable to think of the thing, it clearly means he or she have a lot of things in his mind. He need right now the emotional regulation or the catharsis part. At that moment, we cannot give or just focus the things on the solution. Like for example, if I have a person who have the sexual trauma. Okay, at this point, I just ask them that think of a miracle just happen and every problem just disappear. At this point, this will not help on him. Okay, so at this point, we will not use this technique. And if we have asked the technique and if they are unable to do it, then we can just simply calm the client down that it's completely fine. It happens to some client, and I'm happy that at least you tell me that you are unable to do it. Don't worry, we will figure out the things that we can do in the future. At that point, don't focus on the SFBT, go with the mindfulness technique or with the emotional regulation techniques with your client.
Okay,
Okay?
ma'am.
Ma'am, I think this technique is not uh, good for severe client.
Yes, this is not good for the severe client. This is what I just told.
Yeah, moderate
When
and
you
mild
felt
client.
yes, moderate, milder and to moderate thing. You can ask the client, even if you felt like that, yes, like while taking the case history, you felt like that client have some little bit hope, or they are able to see for the future. At that point, you can ask the thing. Otherwise, the SFBT technique will not work on them, because at this moment they don't have that strength in their mind that yes, everything will good happen. At this moment, you need the mindfulness technique and the emotional regulation techniques, or the techniques that can help the client for the catharsis, so that everything got released, and after that you can use the miracle questioning. Okay.
Understood.
Yes. So now the second technique of the day, uh, just a second. Okay, so now how to use the miracle questioning activities, like different activities with the different clients. Okay, so some activities could be, first is the miracle drawing. In this, how to use it, after asking the miracle questioning, ask the client to draw what life would look like the day after the miracle. Like just I asked that if everything just disappear or a miracle happened in your life, that what will happen. At this moment, you can ask your client to draw the life, okay, on the paper, so that they can have that positive moments with them and they can describe it in a proper in detailed manner. Okay, You can ask your client, what you like to sketch your miracle, would you like to draw a sketch of your miracle day, draw what you would do, and you would where you would go, and who you would talk to. Okay, so this can convert in a happy place image, that what is the place that the client really feels happy and the secured with. Okay, uh, this works great with the children, teen, or the client who prefer expressing themselves visually. Okay, this could be a very you can just take a time with this technique, and benefit of this technique is make the miracle scenario more vivid and the reveal the hidden goals. Like we just do it for the 2 minutes and we have few responses, but if we give a proper paper or a things to our client and help them to express it. Okay, so this will have a very good impact on them. Second technique, that is relational miracle. Relational miracle we can use with the couple therapy or with the family therapy. In this we can tailor the miracle question according to the relationship. Like, if a miracle improved your relationship overnight, what would you notice the first thing? Okay, would you notice the first thing? What would be the other person notice in you? Okay, this is how we can ask this question in the couple therapy session or the family therapy session. We can just modify it according to the client's need. This technique then clarify the client the ideal relational changes and the share goals, sorry. For example, a client with the social anxiety say that if a miracle happen, I would like to walk into a work and greet my co-workers confidently. That small act became our first therapy goal. Okay, okay, clear this technique? Can we move forward?
No, ma'am. Please repeat third one, last
the
one.
the relational miracle.
Yes,
Like
ma'am.
for
Last one.
Yes, like for example, if you have a couple in front of you, they are just focusing on the problems that they have in between. At this moment, we can ask our client, both of the client, like for example, that if a miracle improved your relationship, or if a miracle happened and your relationship is completely healed or improved overnight, that what would be the first thing that you notice? Okay, and what would be the other person noticed in you first? Okay, it's like now we are focusing on the solution, that what exactly the client want from each other. Clear?
Okay, ma'am. Yes.
Yes. So I missed the incremental miracle thing. So second activity, that was instead of imagining everything is fixed, ask if the thing improved by just 10% overnight. Like for example, I have a social anxiety. I have a huge fear with being with the crowd. At this point, you can ask me if I am unable to think of the 100%. This technique can also be used. At this moment, you can ask me, what if 10% of the things has been healed in the overnight thing. Okay, in the night a miracle happened and that 10% of the thing is being improved, what is the small difference would I notice? Okay, for example, if I woke up tomorrow with your problem 10% smaller, what would it be different? Okay, it can make the change feel more achievable. If a client cannot think that everything is healed overnight, I can think of the 10%. But what are the sudden changes that can make me feel that yes, the problem is just eliminating my life, or I can see the hope. Clear? Yes, yes, Rabia ma'am.
मैम सो लेट्स टेक वन एग्जांपल लाइक अगर कोई डिप्रेसिव पेशेंट है और हमने उसको कुछ टू डू थिंग्स दिया लिस्ट ऑफ टू डू थिंग्स कि हाँ आप ये करो मेक द बेड यू नो water the plants and stuff like this and उसने वो एक्टिविटीज नहीं की या फिर थॉट्स डायरी लिखने को कहा और उसने वो सब नहीं किया तो क्या हम ये जो नहीं हाँ मेरेकल क्वेश्चन से तब इंक्रीमेंटल मेरेकल क्वेश्चंस जो है तब हम पूछ सकते हैं बोल सकते हैं कि ओके आप इमेजिन करो कि 10% इम्प्रूवमेंट हो गया है सो दिस विल यू नो एंकरेज देम कि हाँ आपको वो एक्टिविटीज करनी है जो आपको थेरेपिस्ट कह रहा है इज दैट राइट
Yes, and along with that, what you can do is you can ask them to imagine that. Imagine you have a 10% improvement in your life. So, what are the things that you are doing right now? And then you can modify the activities according to the clients what they have said. Like for example, if the client, what if the client don't want to make a bed? He have a lot of thoughts, or he don't have that courage, or he don't have that emotion to do that thing in his life. Okay, what if he don't want to create that cognitive log things or the things that you are doing? So you can modify your activities to the client needs, that what exactly he want to do. If I have a 10, for example, if you ask me that for example, imagine I have a depression, and if you ask me that what if there is a 10% improvement in you, maybe I can say that I am doing dance, maybe I can say that I am eating at my favorite restaurant. At this moment you can modify the activities around this.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, Ankita ma'am.
सो मैम इफ देयर आर टाइम्स कि जो क्लाइंट है वो बहुत रिजिड है उसके थॉट्स के साथ. सो मेरे साथ ये हुआ है ड्यूरिंग द थेरेपी सेशन. लाइक माय क्लाइंट सेड कि नहीं, मुझे बिल्कुल ही फील नहीं हो रहा. मुझे पता है मेरी रियलिटी यही रहने वाली है, एंड मैं
Hmm.
कितना ही सोच लूं या 10 to 20% भी सोच लूं, तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि मेरी ये रियलिटी से हटके कुछ मिरेकल होगा. तो इन दीज काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन हाउ वी कैन डील विद दैट, कि अगर वो बहुत रिजिड है, वो सोच ही नहीं पा रहे हैं, कि चाह भी नहीं रहे हैं कि ओके वो शायद थोड़ा ट्राई भी करे, देन.
Hmm. Okay. So at this moment, did you use the positive affirmation techniques or the gratitude techniques on them, or to notice a few changes in their daily routines, few positive things?
यस मैम.
Okay. How did you use it? Can you just let me know?
लाइक मैम एक्चुअली वो 1 आवर का ही सेशन था. तो एक तो उनको बहुत जैसे जल्दी थी कि मेरे को जाना भी है, नॉट प्रॉपरली, बट ऐसा कह सकते हैं कि जो पॉजिटिव एफर्मेशन थे तो वो हमने यूज किए. बेसिकली हमने इसके पहले उनको कॉग्निटिव रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग की थी, बट दैट
Hmm.
अप्रोच उन पे वो वर्क नहीं किया. दैट्स व्हाई
Hmm.
माय सुपरवाइजर सेड कि ओके आप नाउ अगर ऐसा है तो आप सॉल्यूशन फोकस पे जा सकते हो, बिकॉज क्योंकि उनका लाइफ का थॉट ही है ये कि नहीं, मेरे को बस जल्दी से जल्दी सॉल्यूशन चाहिए और आप मुझे बता दो.
Okay.
बट लाइक आई एम कंफ्यूज्ड. कैन यू गाइड मी फर्दर फॉर दिस?
Okay.
हाउ?
So for this client, do they have a past trauma in their life or something positive in their life? Some achievements in their life? Anything that they told you in the case history? Anything?
ओके. पास्ट ट्रॉमा इज उनके फादर की डेथ, बट पॉजिटिव अचीवमेंट में नॉट एज सच. शी इज डूइंग academic, like bachelor's, and she's
Mm-hmm.
doing her work in
Mm-hmm.
some like clinic as a receptionist, but not as a proper. मैं कह सकती हूँ कि वो अचीवमेंट है, क्योंकि उन्होंने आज तक ऐसा कुछ बताया नहीं है स्कूल से लेकर अब तक का.
Okay, that's completely fine. What you can do with this client, first give her first give her a circle of excellence technique. In this, what you have to do is ask your client to draw a circle on the paper, and she has to write all the achievements. It could be small or it could be big in that circle. Okay, it could be like if someone say thank you to the client for the pen they have just put it up for them, they can write this small achievement in the circle. Even if their teacher pat on their shoulder that they do a good drawing or do something little bit good, they can add it in the circle. Okay, this is how they can feel
Okay,
like
ma'am.
that, yes, I have achieved a lot of thing in my past. If I achieved something in my past, then you can also say that you are the one, you are saying that we don't have anything positive in our life, but yes, we do have a lot of thing positive. This will help them to see to the positive things. Second thing that what you can give to your client is write a gratitude journal, or write a positive journal. In this, what they have to do, they have to write like this client is very rigid, so they can write 3 things positive about themselves, that what they did in today. For example, if they are able to go for a walk for themselves, they can write it as an achievement. If they are able to eat the food that they like, they can write it as an achievement. Okay, anything that they want to write is
Okay,
as an
ma'am.
achievement. Like for example, today they watch their favorite movie or a favorite clip, any short video, they can write it as an achievement. So they have to find any three thing positive about themselves, and they have to thank themselves for that thing. Second thing, the same thing they can do for the others, that the three things that anyone did for them, even if they give them a their pen or even a glass of water, this could be an achievement. After 1 week you can have a discussion over this, that okay, now the in this week these are the three things. It's like 7 3 is 21 things positive about themselves, and the 21 things positive about the other. This is how you can show them a way that yes, something positive happens in your life, you also have a very good stuffs in your life, and that's how you can break the rigidity of the client.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
You can use this along with that. Yes, Deepshika ma'am.
मैम, जैसे इन्होंने बताया कि उनकी क्लाइंट के फादर डेथ कर गए थे, तो क्या उन्हें ग्रीफ थेरेपी की ज़रूरत नहीं है? और चूँकि उनके फादर चले गए हैं, तो इसलिए वो इस चीज़ को इमेजिन नहीं कर पा रही हैं कि मतलब ये मिरेकल इमेजिन नहीं कर पा रही हैं कि वो मतलब फादर आ जाएँ, मतलब वापस आ जाएँगे और सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा। तो क्या उन्हें ग्रीफ थेरेपी की ज़रूरत नहीं, क्या हम दे सकते हैं?
Yes, ma'am, you can give the grief therapy to this client too. But this point, the client is really rigid. He don't want to see to the positive thing. If you just go with the grief therapy, like if he is in the denial or in the anger state, it could be possible that the next stage could be the depression. At this moment, how you can recover that client if he or she is not able to see the positives? How you can shift the thoughts or the emotion that they have? You can use the grief therapy and even the mindfulness technique. I'm not denying it, but at this point she has to look for something positive, so that she can believe that yes, something positive can happens to me also. We have to build the self first, so that when we work on the grief or the other parts of the thing that she is holding, she should be a little bit confident about her own self. She would be able to do that thing. If we will ask them to just restructure the thought or just to release all the things, do you feel like that she can do all these things when she feel like that nothing good will happen to me?
ओके मैम।
Okay, I know you are right, and I'm not denying that, but yes, some things are different according to the clients. Like, for example, I also know in my first case, she was an adolescent. Okay, she also lost her father, and when she lost her father, she is very attached to her grandparents. And within 1 year, her grandparents also just died. At this moment, she just got restricted, or she just become so much resistance, and she was not connecting, or she was not talking to her mother in the fear that if I connect with her or if I told everything to her at this point, my mother can also die or she can also leave me. Okay, so at this point also, instead of the grief therapy, I use this miracle questioning technique and the techniques in which I build the strength of the client. And with the time, it helps that after 3 to 4 sessions, she literally healed, and she gave me the reasons that why she should talk to her mother. Okay,
ओके मैम, अंडरस्टैंड मैम, थैंक यू सो मच मैम।
welcome. Just a second. Okay. Then someone just ask a question that what about if the client answer is impossible? For example, if a client say that their life would be better if their late spouse come back, or if they wake up with $1 billion tomorrow, both of which of course isn't impossible. Okay, so we can ask directly to the client, do you feel that this is possible? That along with that, with this question that the $1 billion I can get tomorrow, that what are the things that we can do now to get the $1 billion tomorrow? This is how we can find the hidden things or the hidden emotion or the thoughts of the client. And second thing, with the client for the spouse thing, we have to give the grief therapy at this moment. We cannot give the miracle questioning, or we cannot just directly question the client if he or she is not in that state. Okay. Clear till now? Okay. So moving to the next technique, that is scaling question. Yes. So now let's look at the scaling question. One of the simplest, yes, most powerful tools in the SFBT for measuring progress. You can use it for the goal setting. You can use it for the checks that whether the client is feeling, whether to measure the progress, or the confidence of the client. Okay. This is a very good technique. I even use this technique with my clients very often. Okay. So in this, we will progress on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the worst and 10 being the best or the ideal state for the client. Okay. For example, on the scale of 0 to 10, how hopeful do you feel today? Okay. So why do we use scaling question? This helps client to see even the small improvement they might otherwise overlook. Okay. Second thing, they turn the vague feeling into a specific and the trackable number. Like for example, if I say that I need a money. Can you tell me that how much money can satisfy me? No. But if I give you a number that I need $1 million or $10 billion, at this point you can focus on the things that I can do to achieve this much amount. So same happens in the therapy settings. We can ask the client to measure the things in a proper and a structured manner. We can use this technique with them. Okay. uh, Yes, they this technique help to set the goal. What would it take to move from 4 to 5? Like for example, if I am struggling with something, like for example, if I am struggling with the anxiety, then you can ask me, or I can you as a therapist can ask me. For example, if I am on a 4 right now, what I am doing, or what are the things that change if I am on a 5? Okay. So you can use the scaling question to measure the baseline levels of the problem or the resources. Second, to track the progress over time. And third, to clarify the goals in a concrete way. Client who say that I feel the same every day, or I don't know if I am improving, with these clients you can use this technique. Even if with the clients having the anxiety, depression, or the low self-esteem, who may struggle to notice the incremental progress, you can use this technique with them. Even this could be used with the children, teen, and since the number feels simple and accessible with them. Even if you can have a template of a scale having the 0 to 10, and you can give this template to them to ask them that how they are feeling right now, or what if they are on the scale of 0 to 10, how where they are right now and where they want to go, and what will happen if they are on a particular number, like on the 7, 8, 9, or 10. Okay. Clear? Did you get it now, that how the miracle questioning and the... Yes, Banita ma'am.
Ma'am, could you just repeat one example for scaling question?
Ma'am, you are not audible. I'm not able to hear you.
Could you just repeat one example for scaling questions? Like, how would you deal with a client? Maybe telling that they have a low mood, maybe. So the
Hmm.
scale would be they would give 3 out of 10 for their
Okay.
mood. Like, so how would you like deal with it?
They are on 3 right now. And then what you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if they are on 3, then I can ask them, okay, so as you told me that you are on 3, now just imagine on the scale of 0 to 10 where you want to go. They can say 8, 9, or 10. Now, then they, like for example, they said 9. Now I can ask them, now imagine you are on the scale of 9. What are the things that change in front of you? What are you doing right now? How are you feeling right now? What are the small steps, or what are the steps you have taken in your life to reach this thing? Now imagine this and tell me. This is how I can ask them to set the goals. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks.
Even in the next session, when they come, not in the every session, but like on the alternative session, I can ask them that in the last session you were on the 3. Right now, how we can rate your week, and now where you are standing right now on the scale of 0 to 10. If they set like 3.5, we can appreciate them or give the positive affirmation to our client that see, we are progressing this much. That see, you have the capabilities, you are doing very good, and now together we can solve the problems that we have till now. We have to reach to the 7 or 8. Right now we are on 3.5. It's a huge progress in our life or in the scales that we have. Okay, next time you will always see that your client is doing better. Okay, even with one of my geriatric case, old age person, he has the existential crisis and the fear of the death because he was in the hospital for 2 months. Okay, at this point I use this technique on him. In each session I ask him, okay, now where we are, he always say a better number, and this is how I give the positive affirmation to my client. And this motivates him because he himself told me that this motivates him for the next session, that yes, we are going to have a progress in the next session too. And he even do the activities that I gave to him in the home because we have used this technique. Clear that how miracle questioning and scaling questionings are different and how to use these techniques?
बेसिकली मैम मिरेकल क्वेश्चन इज अ इमेजिनेशन एंड स्केलिंग क्वेश्चन इज अ प्रैक्टिकल मतलब इम्प्रूवमेंट.
Yes, we can show them on a scale that okay, right now we are here and we want to go here.
Yes ma'am, got it.
Okay, and this is how you can share the progress of the client to themselves. You can ask them, if your client told you that I cannot see any progress, you can simply say that right when we started the therapy we are on the scale of 3, and right now you told me that we are on a scale of 5. We have improved from there to here.
Actually ma'am, I think a small improvement give them confidence.
Yes, and this is how we can show them that yes, small improvements are happening. They can also measure by themselves that yes, the progress is happening. I was on 3 last time. Now I am on 4. It means something has changed. It could be my emotion, it could be anything.
And this is positive change.
Yes. Okay. Also, they have something in their mind like right now, if I am on 3, I have to go on the 7. So, yes, I have to work for that. I have to achieve that thing that I already committed to myself. It's like a small commitment to their own self, but in a positive manner. This will not trigger them. Okay, and this will give them a motivation and the visible progress and the clear next steps that they have to do. Okay, so Bhavika ma'am, in the miracle questioning, we will simply we can ask the client that imagine that you are sleeping right tonight, and just a miracle happen, and every problem that you have is just disappear. And next day when you get up, what is the first small change that you observe around you? It's like just a miracle, or someone snaps their finger and everything, just the problems that they have is over. What will they do right now? The small change that they can observe around them. Okay. Okay, so now the different activities based on the scaling questions is first is the visual ladder or the thermometer scale. You can draw a ladder or a thermometer with a 0 at the bottom and 10 at the top, and then you can ask your client to place themselves on it. Like for example, with a child who will not understand, if we just give them a prompt at this moment, you can just give them a proper scale or a thermometer kind of scale, and on which you can ask your client that where would you put yourself today regarding to your confidence, or where would you put yourself today or after a week. Okay, and then you can update the scale each session so that the client visually track the progress. Like for example, if I said 3 right now, you can mark on the 3 that yes, we are on 3. In the next session we can mark accordingly. Okay. By doing this we can make the progress more tangible and friendly for the teens and even for the children. Even in the relationship studies, we can use this. Clear this activity? Okay. Moving to the next, that is daily discipline scaling. So how to use it? You can ask your client to rate their effort or the consistency on the daily task like self-care, job search, on the social interaction. Like on the scale of 0 to 10, how well did you follow your morning routine today? Okay. Same, you can ask this with the clients of any age group, that how they follow their routine today. They can number themselves and even they can do a better progress in the next time. So this will help the client to encourage daily accountability and the small wins. Clear? You can add this question, the daily discipline scaling question, that on the scale of 0 to 10, how well did you follow the morning routine or the routine that as a therapist I give to you? How did you follow it? They can give a number. You can add this question in the journaling questions for them. Okay. Now, the third activity, that is confidence scale on the specific task. So how to use it? You can ask the client to rate their confidence in performing a task they have been avoiding. So on a scale of 0 to 10, how confident are you about calling your friends this week? Like for any task, you can give the scale to them. How confident they feel for doing this, or how confident they feel for the presentation they have tomorrow, or how confident they feel for the tomorrow interview questions. Okay. So after getting a number, you can ask your client that what would help you to move 1 point higher. Okay, like increment of the 10%, that what you will do to increment it by 10%. Okay. This will turn the vague fears into the actionable steps. For example, a client felt stuck at the 3 out of 10 in motivation. We can explore that what helped on the days they felt like a 4. Identifying the small factors like getting enough sleep become the key strategies for these clients, or even having a chit chat with their friends or anything. This can increase the confidence of the client or can help us to plan the interventions accordingly. Clear? Just give me a thumbs up. Okay. So moving to the next thing, that is exception seeking question. So what is exception seeking question is? It's a core technique for uncovering a client's hidden strength. Okay. So what are the exception seeking question? So they help the client to identify the times when the problem was less intense or absent even briefly. Like for example, if I'm anxious the whole day, then there could be a time, or there could be I'm doing something, or there could be a phase or a time duration in my day where I feel little anxious or less anxious, or I feel no anxious at all. Okay, so at the time, what I am doing? What are the things that I do at that time, or what are the things that I'm doing at that moment? Okay, clear? When this problem was less intense or absent in my life, what I'm doing at that moment, you can ask the client. Okay, uh, why do we use them? They shows the client that problem are not constant or unchangeable. They help the client to see what's already working. And third, they inspire the hope by providing the change has happened before. Like for example, if I have a low self-confidence, if I don't want to express myself at this moment, if I'm a school student, at that time when I'm very back, or don't do anything, I do very good in the maths class because I feel confident, or I do a lot of practice at that moment for that class. So at this point you can see that if I did practice at that point, because of that thing I am less feared, or I am able to express myself. Okay, so this is the exception when the problem doesn't exist in my life. Clear? Is this activity clear?
No, ma'am. Please repeat.
Okay. Okay. So, what this activity is, we have to identify the time when the problem was less intense or absent in the client's life. For example, if I am bullying in my school, at that point, with every person or with the every student in my class, I feel very anxious or I don't want to talk to them. But when a senior come into my class, with them, I feel confident because at that moment I felt less feared, or at that moment I feel secured, or it gives me a confidence that if someone bullies me, at this point the senior can tackle it, or I am able to answer them back. At this moment, when I was bullying or I have a lot of stress in my life, this is the exception, a point or a time where this problem doesn't exist in my life. Okay, like this could be used with the chronic issues or the feeling problems are sorry, with the issues like anxiety, depression, or the performance issue or the relationship struggle. Like for example, if I am depressed or I have a mood disorder like depression, at that moment I don't want to do anything, but when I enters a kitchen and I try to cook for someone or for my own self, at the time I felt happy. So this is the exception, the time where the negative things or the problems that I have doesn't exist. Okay, now clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear, ma'am.
Okay, so uh, okay, so this helps the client to identify the time when the problem was less intense or absent, even briefly. For example, was there a time in the past week when you felt a little less anxious? Now they can try to break the patterns. They felt like that, yes, I can also be happy. There was a time when I was feeling less anxious or less depressed. I was happy at that moment. Then you can use that technique, or you can use those activities that they do, the things that give them pleasure in the intervention part, that can uplift their mood, or the problems they have, they can help them with them. Okay, why do we use them? Why do we use exception seeking questionnaires? They show the client that the problem are not constant or unchangeable. Okay, they help the client to see that what's already working, and they inspire the hope by by proving the change has happened before. Like for example, with my one of my client, she was taking the therapy from me, and after 3 to 4 months she came back and she told me that I again have the negative thoughts. At that moment I just asked, what are the things that you were doing at that point you are not doing right now, that help you at that moment? She told me that yes, she was doing PMRT, she was doing mandala, and right now she was not doing it. Then I just simply asked her, can we restart it? Can we do them again? And because of that, when she restarted, it helps the client to break the all the patterns. Even with one of my client, with the old age person that I told you before this, that he has a lot of sleep issues. But when we started the therapy session, I gave him a mandala for the depression that he have. This also helped him with the sleep problem. But after 4 to 5 sessions, he just stopped the mandala, and he don't love it, or he don't want to do it because of his schedule. And now when he come back to me with the sleep problem again, I just simply ask them that what are the things that you were doing before the sessions or in the first or second session that was helping you to sleep at that moment, but not right now. He just simply said mandala. I just asked him, can we do restart the mandala again? Not in a proper 3 to 4 sheets, but with one sheet only. Can we do this also? Okay, so this can help, or this can create a exceptions in their life. Okay, so which clients can it be benefit? Client who say that nothing ever get better, or I always feel like this. For this, exception question could be a very good technique. And for those client who is struggling with anxiety, depression, or the relational conflict, you can ask this question. The expected outcome of this technique is awareness about the past successes and the motivation to the repeat effective strategies. Clear? Is this clear? Exception clear? Yes, ma'am. Okay. So moving to the activities that you can give related to the exception seeking activities. So first activity is timeline of exception. So how to use it? In this, you will ask your client to draw a timeline marking the past days or the weeks, even the years. Ask the client to identify the moment when the problem felt less intense, what they are doing, or when in the past 2 weeks did you feel even less little better. Okay, I understand that you are anxious the whole day, but there could be some moments when you feel little bit better. What are those moments? You have to create a timeline. Okay, so this benefits the client by shows the pattern that client can upon build upon and have the strength to overcome the issues that they have. Okay, second is the sign language technique. How to use this? During the conversation, invite the client to raise a finger or the signal when they remember an exception. Okay, they can just raise their hand or they can just give you any signal that yes, they remember about any exception. And then as we talk, signal when you recall a time you felt even slightly better. This will help the therapist to keep the client engaged and turn into the positive memory, and help to encourage the client for the active participation during the therapy session. Clear? That they have to find the exception during the therapy time, or whenever they remember any exception thing, they can list it out. Even with the resistance of the client, you can use this technique. Okay. Third is the exception diary. How to use it? Give client a notebook to write one sentence each day describing a time the problem was less overwhelming to them. Even the tiny moments count. Write them down. The client can write them down and then reviews the entries together to identify the helpful strategies. For example, if I went to a shower and when I come back from a shower, I have less negative thoughts. So this could be a one exception thing, or the when I'm surrounded with the water, or when I just take a bath, I feel less anxious. So this could be the things that uh, we can identify, or the helpful strategies. Like for example, if I went to a dance class and when I come back after a dance, I feel very happy. Okay, so this is something that you can use in the intervention thing. You can give dance as the intervention to your client, or you can incorporate dance in your therapy techniques. Okay, this will help to build the awareness of the strength over the time. For example, a client with the constant worry said there were never calmer days. Question revealed they felt better on mornings when they walked outside. Incorporating the daily walk reduced the anxiety. Clear? Is this activity clear? Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, could you repeat timeline of exception?
Okay. So in this, you just have to take one sheet and you can ask your client to draw a timeline or just a simple line on the paper, and then they have to think of the moments in the past 2 weeks or in the past time when they felt like the exceptions happen. Okay, like for example, if I'm suffering from social anxiety, so in past 2 weeks or in past 1 month, what are the things when this problem is less effective, or when this problem doesn't impacts me? What was the time? Okay, then I can just create like this. I can create one line. uh, I cannot draw, I think. Okay, I can just create one line, and this is how I can write. Like for last 1 week, I have do this. Like second week, I did this. Like third week, I did this. Fourth week, this was the time when this doesn't happen. Okay, and this is how I can create a timeline for that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Now I cannot use the eraser, I think. Sorry. Uh, let's see that. Okay. So moving to the next activity, that is coping questions. Clear till now, or do you have any questions? Okay. So the coping question. Now let's talk about the coping question, which helps client to see their own resilience. So what are the coping question? These questions highlight what clients have done to endure the difficult time even when they feel helpless. For example, how have you managed to keep going during this tough period? What are you doing at that moment, or what motivates you, or what gives you this power that you are, after doing or having all these problems, you are here in front of me and telling all the problems, and now you want to change yourself. What is that power? Okay, or what are the things that you have or you were doing? Okay, why do we use them? Because they help client to see themselves as the survivors, not the victim. Second, they validate the client's effort even if there were very little or the small efforts they have made. Third, they remind the client that they already have strategies they can use again. Okay, you can use uses of the coping questions are: first, the crisis counseling or for the trauma work, you can use this question. Second, supporting the client in grief and in chronic stress or overwhelming circumstances. So which client you can use this? Client who say I can't cope or I am not strong enough. At that point, just ask them, okay, I understand this, but you have faced a lot of things, but now what is the thing that help you out to overcome all this thing? Or now you have that power or the motivation that keep you make moving in your life. What are the things that you have? Okay, so this is how the clients can gain the self respect or help them to be resilient and aware about the coping or the personal strength that they have. Okay, clear? Is this activity clear? Any question? Okay, so moving to the activities related to the coping questions. First is the resilience jar. How to use it? In session, ask the client to write down one coping action per day, like I called a friend or I took a shower, and I placed it in a jar. Like what we did in the positive affirmation jar or the gratitude jar, we can create a resilience jar. Okay, that what are the things that I do today to overcome the things that I have. Okay, each paper shows your ability to keep going. So after the session or after in the next session, we can revisit the jar to highlight the growing resilience in the client, and this can help the client by providing them the visible proof of the strength that they have in themselves. Clear? Okay, so moving to the next activity, that is coping mind map. So how to use it? In this, draw the problem in the center of the page, branch out with ways the client have coped. What helps you last week or even yesterday? Okay, you can ask this thing that in this they have to just draw a problem in the center of the thing and the things that they have do to overcome the problem. Just simple as that. You can use the colorful markers or engage the client to draw it out or to express themselves, because this can expand their sense of what they are already working. Okay, what's already working for them. Clear? The third activity is daily survival checklist. In this, how to use it? Together, create a list of 3 to 5 small daily coping tasks. Then ask the client, let's check each day what you were able to do. Keep it achievable. For the therapist, you have to make the list that keep them achievable. This will build the self efficacy through the small wins. Like for example, if I have the social anxiety, if you told me then that just go on a stage and give a presentation in front of 100 people, I am unable to do it, even if it will make me more anxious and will increase my issue. But if I told myself, or if as a therapist you can told me, just go and give a smile to one stranger daily. Okay, just random stranger, give them a smile or a compliment, like your earrings are good. As a female, I can give a compliment to the other female, that give a compliment to other female that your earrings are good or you are wearing a very good dress. You have to give this kind of compliments. This will help me or to build my self efficacy and to increase the self confidence, even can lead me to the bigger goals that I have. After doing this, I can give positive things, or I can say the positive things to the three peoples, and then to the five people, then to my friend, or can go in the small gatherings. Yes.
Ma'am, how to make this daily survival checklist? I mean, asking client that what can they do, or like we can suggest something.
You can also suggest something. If they have something in their mind, you can add that also, or you can add one or two things from your end, like
Can you
your
give more
mindfulness.
examples? It's not that clear.
Okay, like for the daily survival checklist, for example, if I'm suffering from depression or I have any mood disorder, then I can have a 5 activities a day, or the 3 activities a day. Like first activity could be make my own bed. Okay, second activity is go to a walk if I'm okay with it. Third activity is doing a PMRT or 2 minute breathing technique. Fourth activity is drinking 3 liters of the water or the 5 liters of the water. Fifth activity is just not using the phone 1 hour before I sleep. Okay. When I just have this list, I will take it out daily. And after 1 week, I feel like confident that yes, I am doing something. And this will help me to focus on the positive, or to focus on the solution instead of the negatives. Okay. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, next activity, that is complementing and the strength amplification. So this technique is for building the self-esteem of the client. So what this activity is, so offering the specific, sincere praise for a client's effort, strength, or the growth. Like instead of good job, I say I appreciate how honest you were today. Take can take the courage of the client. Okay, clear? That I just appreciate it for the things that they are doing, or I'm just complimenting them. Okay, like instead of good job, I can say them I appreciate how honest you were today, or how beautifully you did this activity today. I am happy that I give you 10 activities and you are able to do 5 of them. That's so good of you. It means you are taking charge for your own life. Now you are healing your life. You are doing better in your life. You are able to do, or you can heal your life in a better format. Okay. Why do we use it? It helps the client to see their own value, boost the motivation, and the strengthen the rapport with, in between the therapist and the client. Okay, it could be used with the clients having the low self-esteem, or keep clients engaged in the therapy. They felt like that at least someone is there who is considering my efforts, who is appreciating me, or who is here to help me out. Okay. Expected outcome of this activity is increased confidence and the willingness to take the steps. Even if when your client came, you can compliment them after listening to their problem, that you are so brave. It means you have, just a second. Yes, the PPTs will be given to the students who have paid 95 for the resources. This is already included in the resources. Okay. Otherwise, you will get the recording. Recording is for everyone. That is already present on my YouTube channel. So what I was saying. Hmm. So yes, it will increase the confidence and the willingness to take the steps of the client. Like for example, if a client came to me, if he told me a lot of his problem, then I can just compliment them. Or for the strength thing, that I can tell them that I understand, it's so brave of you. You have faced all of these things, but now still you are here in front of me. You are doing very good, and you, it means you have that hope, you have that motivation in you. This is how the client felt like that. Yes, the therapist is understanding me, and there is someone who is complimenting me, who is giving positive affirmations to me, and this is how they will also feel positive about their own self. Okay, and help them to increase their confidence and the engagement and the motivation in them. Okay, so the complementing activities could be, first is the strength spotting. How to use it? Ask the client to talk or the point out the specific strength. For example, you can ask your client, you showed the great patience with your client this week, or with your child this week. Okay, this is how we are complimenting them. This is how we can helping the parent to improve better. Okay, this will help the client to internalize the positive feedback. and make them to move forward towards the therapy session. Second is the peer complimenting circle. How to use it in a group settings. Invite the participant to give each other a compliment about their effort that they have made. It could be very small. If they just took a glass of water and give that to them, this could be even considered for the complimenting thing. That complimenting your peer or in the group. For example, how you can do this: share one thing you admire about how someone handle a challenge in any activity, or if they have a case history or a little bit discussion, they can give a compliment like that. Okay. For this, as a therapist, you have to set the ground rules for the kindness, and this will help the client to build the community and the support. Clear? Okay. Third is the compliment mirror. How to use it? Have client to say one kind statement about themselves in a mirror. This is like a positive affirmation thing that I can give to myself, in which I have to say myself that I am proud of how I managed my frustration today. I am giving one positive affirmation to myself. I'm highlighting my strength and I am complimenting myself. Okay, this will normalize the discomfort with discomfort that the client have with the resistance they have or with the negative thoughts they have. Okay, and help the client to build the self compassion. Clear? For example, a client who is ashamed of missing therapy appointments was complimented for showing up today. Okay, after 3 sessions, they are showing up. So this they can begin to see themselves as a committed rather than failing. Clear? This can help them to compliment themselves and help to increase their self-esteem. Now, the next activity, that is positive self-talk. So, positive self-talk, it is a skill that helps the client to change the harmful internal dialogue into the supportive and the kind words. What is positive self-talk? It means teaching the client to consciously replace the negative thought with encouraging realistic statement. Like instead of I always mess up, they might say I am learning and trying my best. Like it's like I am replacing or restructuring the negative thoughts with a realistic or with the positive one. Okay, why do we use it? To reduce the self criticism, build the resilience and the motivation, and encourage the self compassion. It could be uses with the client having the low self confidence, anxiety, depression, or having the issue of the perfectionism. Okay, expected outcome of this technique is improve the mood and increase the self belief, and even reduce the negative thought pattern, or increase the self belief thoughts that they have. Clear? Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, will it work for overthinking and negative self-talk or something?
Yes, definitely it will work. But for this, you have to give them first few things, or the first few positive self-talk that they can do with themselves.
Okay.
Okay, you can just identify 5 or 6 thoughts that they have and how to rephrase them. And after 2 to 3 sessions, they can easily do it by themselves on the other thoughts. Okay. Now, activities related to this. First is the positive journal. How to use it? Have clients write one positive statement about themselves each day. This is what I told you past before in some case discussion. Okay. Yes. So this will help to build the self kindness. For example, how to do this? Today I kept trying even when it was hard. This is the one positive thing that I said to myself. This will improve the self kindness, even the positive thoughts. Even when I have lost all the hopes about myself, this will give me the positive thing in my mind. Second is the gratitude practice, that notice the positive about themselves or about the other. Okay. Third is the strength affirmation. How in this we will client to help the client to create a personal affirmation like I am capable. Encourage the daily repetition. Okay. If I have a thing like that I'm worthless, or like I am unable to do this, this is how I can give them one affirmation. Or I can ask them to find five or six affirmation that they love or that can reduce this thought, and then they can just recite it again and again. Helps the client to rewire the negative thoughts that they have. Okay. Then is the visualization, that imagine handling the challenges confidently. That confidently I am able to handle that challenge, and what are the things that I am doing at that moment, the strengths that I have that can help me. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, how to do all these activities with the person who don't like writing things or like
You can,
noting down?
yes, you can change the mode. If they don't like to write, then you can ask them to draw. If they don't like to draw, you can give them in the form of dance. Okay, in the form of song, in a form of poetic thing. Okay, imagine you can ask them to imagine themselves as a superhero, and that superhero is telling them what will be the words. Okay, so second last is the small action list, that celebrate the daily successes with the kind words, that the things that did today and went very well. What are the small actions that I did? For example, a client facing an exam learned to say that I am prepared and can do my best, which reduce the anxiety or the fear of the exam. Clear? Clear till now? These are the all techniques that comes under the uh, SFBT. Now, just a case thing. Uh, in this, Rahul is a 30-year-old man who lost his job due to a company downsizing. He now feels hopeless and avoids applying for the new job because he fears rejection. He is also worried about disappointing his family and his self-esteem has dropped. Okay, now our goal is to use SFBT to help Rahul regain the hope and take the small step forward. Now, what will be the steps or what techniques you can use on this client? The techniques that we have learned are just a second, are these. In these, what technique you can apply on this client Rahul to help him to overcome all the issues that he have?
Ma'am, can you go to the page of case study again?
Just a second. Yes, this is the case study. Responses from you guys, that what you have learned today. Yes, Aradhana ma'am.
No, I think first we will start with the scaling method so that we
Hmm.
can understand the level of hopelessness and fear and all this, to understand the basic thing,
Hmm.
like the level of the client, and then we can go ahead with different approaches.
Good. Along with that, in the scaling, we can ask the client that where he wants to go and what he is doing right now, and we can incorporate that strategies too. Anyone else or any other technique you can use?
Ma'am, even we can use strength wala also in this कि उनके basic strength क्या थे, despite of that कि वो निकल गए या उनको जॉब से निकाला गया,
Hmm.
फिर भी we are, हम फोकस कर सकते हैं उनके स्ट्रेंथ पे भी.
Yes, and we can compliment them also on those strengths.
Hmm.
Yes, ma'am, I
Good.
agree.
Any other thing?
I think the most important thing is that first we understand like what are the fears, or like what is the problem of the client, and
Hmm.
then understanding the basic strengths, or area of concern for the client, and then
Okay.
like replacing it, or like mm, doing with more positive manner rather than seeing through the negative lens.
Good. For this, we can use the complimenting thing. Even we can use the coping questions. We can
Yes.
restart with the positive self-talk because he is working in a company. It means he had something in his life or he has done something. That's why he is working in a company. We can help him to remind all of his achievement.
But how we will